Welcome to Studio 7, everyone. I'm Mercedes Wilson.
I'm Dom Tibbetts.
And I'm Autumn Lewandowski. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Happy Monday. Happy Victory
Victory
Monday.
Victory.
How are we feeling after that victory?
I think it was around I was talking about this with Matt earlier today. I think around 2 a.m. is when I fell asleep yesterday because I came back here in the studio after the game to do the 11. And like you guys have like gone to games as fans. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a minute when your adrenaline is pumping. And like even it is for us, like that's such an eventful way for the game to end.
Yeah.
You're putting everything together. The adrenaline was kicking in for me until like 1:30, 2 in the morning when I think I finally fell asleep. So I'm a little tired today, but you know, it's always easier to be a little tired on a Victory Monday than it is a normal
That is
Monday.
true.
Yeah.
That is true. So what were some of the highlights? I mean, of course, that touchdown, right?
Yeah.
By Josh.
Yeah, Josh Allen. No, I mean, I would say the one that kind of gets lost in the mix a little bit there too is, I mean, we've seen this time and time again with the Chiefs is like you always have to keep your foot on the gas because the Chiefs can march down the field and score.
Yep.
The 13-second game is still in everybody's memory,
Yep.
right in the kind of the tip of the iceberg there. But Terrell Bernard, that game-sealing interception late on that final drive, and they basically go down to take a knee
Yep.
there. I thought that
Yep.
was really important.
Yep.
Terrell Bernard was a guy who was not playing for Buffalo when they hosted the Chiefs in last year's playoff game. So he made the world of a difference. Curtis Samuel, like, hey, hello, and how are you? Good to have you back on the Bills here. He's been a little quiet this year, but he
Right.
got his first touchdown with
Right.
the Bills. So a lot of good highlights and a lot of really just good fan energy. I was just saying it right before we came on air, and that was maybe not the loudest continuous game of like loudness I've heard at
Yeah.
Highmark Stadium.
Yeah.
But after like Josh's touchdown run, I think my body was vibrating like a tuning fork for at least an hour. It just felt like there was like shock waves going through me a little bit. So it was good. It was a good atmosphere, a good game, and Victory Monday. We had in the bye week, and Bills are 10-2.
So I've asked, I think, Matt a couple of times.
9-2.
Yes, get that right. So I've asked Beauvais a couple of times. You travel and see our Bills play. Looking at or thinking about all the other teams that you see, are there any fans like ours?
I think like recency bias. Matt has been to so much more stadiums than me, but like Chiefs Kingdom is what like their like Bills Mafia is.
Yeah.
Kingdom, Chiefs fans. Chiefs fans are pretty rowdy. I would always say there's just such a large coalition of Cowboy fans that like they always seem to like there's a Cowboys fan in every corner of the country that I've been able to travel into my life. In terms of like passionate fan bases, I just think the Bills are one of one. I mean, it's hard for me not to experience it as somebody who hasn't worked in another professional market to see other fan bases. But Bills Mafia is currently number one in that category for me until proven otherwise.
You know, did you guys see on social media platforms that the Buffalo International Airport was trolling Chiefs fans?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like go into it. I didn't click on any of it, but I was like, I wonder how they handled that.
I'm sure that was a delightful way to get in. Somebody's like, oh, you're going to the city of good neighbors. Have a good time. And the first thing you hear is the shout song as you're coming in off Buffalo Niagara International Airport. Yeah.
Not when it comes to our football. No. That's not it.
But I did hear, so we were at my sister's house watching the game. And by halftime, we're like, okay, we need to get home. It was school night, kind of get ready for the week and everything. So we're driving home. And then I had to look it up to see how far we actually are from the stadium because I have never heard the shout song. And I heard that along with the fireworks going off. So we're about 6 miles from the stadium. So that's how little wind played a factor in yesterday as well. Because usually, I mean, we've got wind always coming in. But it was so quiet, at least in terms of that it was able to travel to us.
Wow.
And I mean, we've never heard that before.
That's
As
awesome.
we were like, something good must have happened.
Oh, yeah.
Well, go Bills. Go Bills. Anything else about the game you want to point out before we move on?
Ooh,
It was just a good game. Man.
I'll give a shout out to like the national crews, and this is something I said all week. There was a time where like the Buffalo Bills, you couldn't even sniff a primetime game with them.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Years and years and years of, let's just call it like mediocre football that won't get you in these primetime slots where they're
That's
on
true.
TV, national audience, everybody is tuned in. but that's all changed in the past couple of years. And like, I don't know, I was watching a couple like social media videos of like the CBS crews and like these national TV crews that all came in, and they're like using their on-air talent, and they're smashing tables.
Oh, did you see?
Yeah.
That
I
was
did
great.
not see that.
That was great.
I saw one guy, I forget his name, but we got to teach him. Somebody from Bill's Mafia has to teach him how to do this. He jumped feet first into the table, and that went about as good as you would expect. He fell very hard, and he got right back up. He said he was good. I bet he's feeling that this morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But it is cool. Like, I think it's when you look back, and it's easier to do it when they come after a win like they did. It's really cool to see kind of how the national audience is like kind of almost like embraced Bill's Mafia. Like, hey, if it's not our team, it's going to be the Bills. They want to see the Bills do successful. People like what they do. And I think it's it wasn't always this way. So enjoy it while you got it.
Yeah, and life is a little more pleasant around Buffalo when we win.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Life is a little more pleasant.
Yeah, my mom's phone calls to me are just start off much quieter when they win. Much quieter.
I absolutely love that. I know in my house, the night goes well, the evening goes well,
Right.
and then the next day everybody's good.
Mhm.
Everybody's good. What about you?
With what? With them winning?
With the Bills win versus losing.
I'm kind of okay either way. To be
Fair
honest,
enough.
like it's just, it is what it is. Like what can you do? I'm never that. I don't know.
No.
I think to a
No.
point, like, unless it's like the playoff games hurt because, if you don't win a playoff game,
that I
then
care
you're
about.
done. But
Yeah.
a regular season loss, as I think of like the Texans and the Ravens game, 2 tough losses for the Bills. I think
Yeah.
most people were able to just kind of like put that together and just move on the next day because, hey, there's still a lot of football left to be played this year.
And that's what everybody was saying too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not the Super Bowl. This is not a Bills Super Bowl. They still have a lot more games they have to win, and there's a very good chance they're going to see Kansas City in the playoffs. And we all know how
And
it's
that's all
gone in years
different.
past. So
Yeah.
One game at a time,
Yep.
friends. One game at a time. We'll be right back. Whew. All right. So we have some fun topics coming up, but so you were actually out there during the game.
yep, on the sideline,
yeah.
and
I
it
missed the
was-
whole second half.
it was fun. Did you fall asleep?
Oh, because you were headed home.
I was
Oh,
I was headed home, and then once I got Natalia into, so it was like 8 o'clock or so when we got home, and I had laid her down, and I just fell asleep right then. I could not muster getting back
Yeah.
up.
Oh,
So
it was
yeah,
so good.
I missed it all, and that's the thing. Like I don't get, especially when it's not playoffs or what. Like I just try not to get invested
Yeah,
because I
of
don't
course.
want to get anxious about anything anyway. I think when they lose in upsetting way, then I'm kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
affected by it, but
Yeah.
otherwise,
Well, now you know
It's
what you've
alright.
done, Autumn, is you've basically locked it up for yourself. Like, if the Bills are starting to do good, you can't watch second halves anymore.
no, I can't.
Because you might disturb, like, there's, like, the balance
Yeah.
of the force is, like, right here, right now. You might tip it back to the left.
Gotta get out of that house,
Right.
leave
And that
everybody
happens.
I know.
Autumn, I'm going to be on the sidelines. I'm going to call you. You're not really allowed to call on your cell phone when you're down on the sideline because of all the wireless and the connectivity problems, but I will call you. I'll be like, hey,
Like-
are you watching the game? Turn that off, Autumn.
Listen, I've got the key. I've got to call her.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
What can you do?
Nothing. Nope. Nothing at all.
Superstition. That's what we got.
It is, but you know what? My family, like my uncle, who's been a Buffalo Bills fan forever, since before I was born. These are exciting times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Buffalo. I mean, I'm telling you, we stick it out.
And if you had asked anybody, I think I said this a couple weeks ago when I was on here with you, Mercedes. Like, if you had asked anybody at the beginning of this season, would the Bills be 9-2 through 11 weeks heading into the bye week?
Mhm.
I think everybody would have been like, no way.
Really? You think folks would say?
I mean, I had them going 4-2 at best out of the first 6 games, and that was just through the first 6. And then Houston and Baltimore happened, but I mean, this was a rebuild year for them. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, was this before the
Right.
trades?
no, this was like, yeah, this was, I'm talking about after all the trades, after Diggs and Davis and Mitch and Gabe and Micah's, whether or not Micah comes
Wow.
back. Like, I
Mhm.
would have been very, very shocked. I mean, the guys on leading the charge were 10-7 records prediction. I think mine was 11-6. They are playing way past their expectations right now.
Yeah.
So how many
And-
games left do they have then?
They've got. Oh man, you just
Yeah,
made
so
the
we've
sports
got-
person do math. Autumn.
So 9-2, they're at 11 now.
They go. Would be
They're at 11 now. Do they play 17
They
games
have
a year?
six more games left.
So
Okay.
seven. So
The
they
bye
play
week, then 6 more.
17 games. Okay.
There's
So
18,
there's
18 weeks in the season, 17 games. So yes,
Gotcha.
correct. There you go. I
Okay.
should have just done it that way.
yeah.
But again,
just
you
tell me
made,
the
you just made
numbers
the
and
sports
I'll.
person do math.
All right, we're coming back. That is so funny. And welcome back to Studio 7. Now, we can talk Buffalo Bills the whole show.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have some fun topics. We have some
Okay.
fun topics.
What are we going
lot.
to?
So, do we want to talk about, or Dom, you want to introduce this one?
Yeah, sure. So I think this is one I looked at our topic sheet, and this is maybe a little bit more geared towards people in my generation, a little younger, young adults. The pros and cons of moving back home as an adult.
I think millennials can be in here too, man, because I
Yeah,
think about it.
Sure. I mean, times are tough.
Yeah.
Like, people trying to make your money stretch, trying to make the dollar stretch. I know a lot of people who graduate from college, and I think it's a little bit more normal there, but people graduate from college, live maybe the first 1 or 2 years at home, maybe even 3, as they're getting like the kind of their first starter adult job in their small home, their city, wherever they grew up in, live with the parents still, and then they migrate. But my friends, I have a few who have done this, is where they've gone out, move away, and then they're like, ooh, actually, life has changed for me a little bit. I will come home and I'm going to stay with my mom and dad, because I have a lot, and especially friends who lived in New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, Phoenix was another one, like big cities where the dollar doesn't stretch as easily.
That's a lot of money.
Okay, so pause right there.
Yeah.
Autumn, do you remember when we first moved out? Like, did you think, okay, life is not what I thought this was? Should I consider, I remember thinking like, okay, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Paying my own bills is not as fun.
No, it was. I did move back home. I moved away.
Okay.
I moved away. I spent 2 years in Macon, Georgia, and then I came back home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm telling you, us millennials.
No, it's
Listen, the starting out in TV news is not, a glorious money making, experience. You make a lot less than anyone would think. And there was no like getting a little nest egg of money that you could then go to the next place and make your, make the next move. It just so happened that my next job led me back to Buffalo, and with that, it was so helpful that I was able to go back home and then kind of create what I needed to in order to move out on my own.
And I think that is the perfect example. And I told this to my one buddy who moved back home. He moved out from college, moved back home. Now he moved back to Vermont with his girlfriend. But it's like, you can find like your direction, like get your life together when you go back home, put it together, put the puzzle pieces together in a year or two, whatever it takes you. And then just go, then you have like a little bit, like a launch pad of success, if that's the right word. I don't, to like go out and be an adult, be a young adult, go live on your own. For me, it was always different. Like I was pretty good living independently, but like you went to Macon out of college, great little place. I've been to Macon before. I went to Butte, Montana. So like I was 2,000 miles away from anybody and everyone I ever knew.
Yeah.
So I kind of didn't have the ability to like lean back on any close relatives. I wasn't really going to like ask my parents for any financial help unless it was really an emergency situation. So in that sense, like I'm always somebody who agrees, like if you get thrown in the fire, sometimes you can just learn how to be adaptable and you'll learn and grow that way. But also, I think there was times too where I could have been like, I would love to be like next to my parents where I could like, hey, you know what? I can take a year away and go figure things out here and then like not feel like I don't have any sense of clue what I'm doing with my life. So there's a 50-50, I feel like, with that.
And I think you brought up a good point. It's different for everyone.
Yeah, of course.
It's different for everyone. Me, I hope my kids kind of lean on us until I'm hoping 24, 25. I'm like, save your money. When you move out, you should have the option to either buy your first house or you have enough to where you're comfortable. I mean, that's just what I want for my kids because I struggled so bad with moving out, but it's different for everyone.
My dad he's so funny. It's like he said it to my sister who recently just moved to Atlanta to become a teacher down there. And like, I don't know how it was when you guys growing up, but like I couldn't wait. Like when I graduated college, I could not wait to move out of the house. It's something I did. And like back, I feel like the stereotype way back, like when my dad was growing up, when he turned 18, his dad, my grandpa, was like, time to get a job and get out of the house. See you later. You know, but my dad was always like, dude, come back home. Save your money. He's like, I told your sister, don't ever rush. Just live in the basement.
Is that how your dad talks? Your whole voice changed.
Yeah, this is Dom Tippett the first now. Yeah, this is him. I can hear it in his head, but he never. We left when we wanted to, and he never really pushed us out, which I always appreciated. But in the same sense, again, it's different for everybody. I'm somebody who just wanted to get out, but I don't have any problem if somebody has to reassess where they are in their life, come back home, get it figured out, have a little reset.
Now I'm with Linda. If we can pull that comment back up where she said her son left and then moved back and brought his friend and a dog. Whoa. He didn't come back with a friend, but he came back with a dog. And then their son moved out again, and his friend and the dog stayed.
Oh, so
well, the dog. If my son, when he moves out, the dog is gonna stay. We're not letting the dog go. But,
okay,
but he did come home with his dog.
So Linda fell in love with her son's friend and the dog more than maybe her son. That's what it sounds like, and Linda. That's what I'm picking up off that at least.
No, but I think it's. Were you gonna say something? No. I think it's different for each kid. Now, our daughter, she lives. I mean, she's 10 minutes away, but off campus housing. Our son is home, and I'm like, go to school. Don't worry.
Right.
Life is not what you think it is when you try
and
to
you
launch
have
out.
so much life left ahead where you're doing your own. But I mean, that's what I wanted too. I went to Brockport because it was just far enough away for everybody, you know, my parents to realize.
Close enough where you had the safety net.
Yeah, I was like, I'm far. Like I could do this on my own. I could, you know, and then I moved to Macon. I could do this on my own, and I could have come home and done it on my own. But the thought of being able to save rent and live and have the luxury of having my parents able to have me back at home, I'm like, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know.
So. Now, when I went to college, we actually Linda said no comment to you. That's
smart. Linda's PR team's doing real well right now.
Now, when I went away to college, I moved into a house where it was like 6 of us. It was the women's basketball team. So we were able to divide those bills up. So at first it was kind of like, this is great. You know, cable bill, $6 because all of us are chipping in.
Right. Yeah.
And then once we left that house, I was like, okay, so this is not
this
what I
real
thought
life.
it was going to be.
You're like doing this thing, you like look at the bill, it's like a scratch and sniff. You're like, what's going on here? Is this correct?
So listen, I'm still open to, I mean, Dad, if you're listening, I'm still open to the family. I mean, we can just get a nice big house and all of us come on together. I'm a fan.
Yeah, Dad, I'm good now. We'll reassess if we need to.
We'll be right back. Sometimes I'm telling you, sometimes I think about it.
Yeah, I 100%. Well, and like when I was in Butte, because I went up to Macon twice because that's where they hosted the state basketball championships in Georgia. So when I was working in Tallahassee, you do so much with. Because you're right on the border,
yeah,
so
you're
you have
right there.
the southern Georgia schools in our market. I don't know what it was like cost living wise in Macon, but like Butte, Montana was very affordable. So,
yeah,
like,
it was pretty cheap.
So
it was pretty cheap.
But I had friends who live, so Butte, Bozeman is like the market.
Okay.
So it's 2 cities, but that's the market size. So I would go to Bozeman quite a bit, and that's where our main studio was, where I'd have to go anchor. And my sports director and our weekend person at the time was there in like Bozeman. Like they all had roommates because a single bed at the time in Bozeman was like $1,500 a month.
Whoa.
Which when you know, starting TV salaries, that's a mega fortune. Now Bozeman, Montana's median house price is over $700,000. So it's gone astronomical.
Why?
Everybody wanted to move to Montana.
Is
Blame
there
Yellowstone.
like nothing there?
Oh,
Blame
I
Yellowstone.
do love some Yellowstone.
No, I think it's
moose?
because it's just it's quiet. I'll tell you, it is so like the western half of from like Big Timber, Montana, and the western half of that state is so beautiful. Montana.
Oh yeah, I would love to
beautiful.
kind of go across country and
But
just
beautiful
see
costs
everything.
money now, Autumn.
Yeah, everything costs money
That's
now.
a lot of money.
So
Yikes.
yeah, but it's and that's what worked for me. But I remember when I went to Tallahassee though, I had to have 2 roommates. And there was times where like, and I was not necessarily always the happiest with my job in Tallahassee. So there were times where I was like, man, I would love to like go back home and live for a year. Like I wish my parents lived in Tallahassee because I need to like go get my money situation figured out here. And You know, so that's why if like you're in that position, you need it, take advantage of it. Because sometimes you don't have that option. So
telling you.
you're with your son, you know,
I tell him all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay, get it together, then move out when you're ready to go.
I'm not even looking ahead to when Natalia's gone and doesn't want to be. I'm like, just come home.
Are you gonna? How quickly do you put like the ECC, the like SUNY Buffalo State, UB college pamphlets, or are we looking? What's
Or
the
you want her to
farthest
stay
you want
local?
Natalia?
I mean, we've got another 15 years.
That's a good point.
Almost, maybe, before
good
we have
point.
to like let her go do that. No, I want her to succeed and do everything that she wants to do, but I'm already thinking of how hard it will be.
So like the California Institute of Technology in Sao Paulo next to Stanford, is that
Dom, you're starting trouble here, man.
Listen,
I'm just gonna remember that.
I'm already teaching her how to do deals. So
she's gonna be great with that.
If a college doesn't sound like it's a good deal, we're not doing it.
I can do that one.
Yeah. Oh, we're coming back. Welcome back to Studio 7. We're really enjoying you hanging out with us today.
I know.
Dom.
Good to have you here
such
today.
a nice treat. Thank you. On a Victory Monday, you get me.
I know.
You know,
I know. I love it. But best afternoon show. Sorry if I'm peeking around. Hi, Cheryl.
Hey,
Thank
now.
you, Cheryl.
I can agree. I can agree.
100%.
Yes. So, do we want to chat on the friendship breakup? I mean, just talking about life and just kind of kind of growing up and moving on. The friendship breakup. It's a real thing. Why ending friendships can be harder than ending relationships.
Maybe you guys like I can definitely speak on this topic, and maybe you guys have had different approaches to this, like, because I've had friendships when you like start like maybe elementary, middle school friendships that don't like phase into high school, or high school friendships that don't phase into college, and you come back, you're like, oh, I remember you, when you see each other at like your local bar on a Thanksgiving break or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can really recall too many times I've had to have like a conversation with someone and was like, hey, we can't be friends anymore. Like,
I don't think it happens
because it feels more like a relationship breakup, like with you and a partner, than it does like a friend. So I don't know if like I've ever had to really go through that. Is that something you guys have done?
I think I can honestly, I mean, I don't know if I've ever had to say it like that. Like, hey, we don't have to, or we can't be friends. I think it just kind of drifts as you get older.
Naturally.
And maybe you agree or disagree, but I think it just kind of drifts where maybe it's just more like time, or a situation happens and you go, okay,
Right.
So that would kind of divide us, and you can just kind of drift. Not that you hate the person or anything like that, but you just realize, okay, so where you are and where I am, they're not quite.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, I've never had to have a conversation with someone and saying, I can't be your friend anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we do in elementary and middle school, and maybe even high school, right?
Oh, yeah. My dad says I can't be your friend no more. Sorry.
Tom, you've done that one too many times. You practice that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So my dad says you can't be friends because your dad's a Chiefs fan. Sorry. Every elementary kid ever that grew up here in Buffalo. But no, I think I really do think it's been, I go back and look on it, like I think of a couple people that come up. I had a really good friend growing up in a neighborhood. He grew up literally across the street from me. But then like life happens. Like we stayed friends throughout high school, but then different groups and different cliques, whatever it is, like I went to college, he went off, did something else. So like, and you see each other, and it's not like I pick up a conversation right where it is, but I definitely am not like emotional tears of joy.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I'm seeing you, dude. It's so good. I haven't seen you in forever. Like I don't necessarily think that, I don't know, like the whole friendship breakup is something that it's like a hard conversation.
Right.
I think like it's one of those things where like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Like the people that you
don't have
want
to
in your
force it.
circle are gonna be there, and the people who aren't, they phase out. And I think that's a part of life, and I've been good with it. I'm sure because nobody out here is saying like otherwise. To me, it sounds like all of you guys have probably had similar experiences to that.
A ton of them. And go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Linda, I think we had put this up too. She said she had a long time friendship relationship with her best friend, and she had to end that with her. So I can see there are certain situations that people may get into where like a boundary or something was crossed and it's just done, and maybe you don't come back from certain things. And I totally respect people that have to do that. I just never had.
That's not easy to do. No. So absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's funny because growing up, my mother used to always say, everybody is not your friend. My dad, I'm like, everybody is my friend. Mm-hmm. Everybody's my. And then as you get older, you realize, okay, now I see what they meant. Now I see what they meant, because you do have those
parents
people.
Were right.
Right. I know. Right. Gosh. And now we're saying it to our kids.
Yeah.
Everybody's not your friend, Brooklyn. Everybody's not your friend. But, like I have some friends that I've had since elementary school, and there's times where we didn't talk for over a year, and we pick up the phone like nothing.
Yeah.
And, like we never skipped a beat. And then there's some you see and it's just like a hello, but life. So it's kind of like unspoken,
right?
Unspoken, but I think it's just where life leads. And
it's also like I'm now at the point, like I'm 28, like I'm at a point now in my life where like I'm good with the people I have in my circle, and like that's what's most important to me. Is like I don't necessarily like need to be like, I'm always there to add more people. It just happened. I've worked at 3 different cities. Like there are people, like the people sitting next to me, like the people who work in our newsroom, who come into my life, and it makes a circle bigger. But like, I don't need to ever go back home. And like, we have our 10-year reunion coming up next 2 Saturdays from now. I will not be going there being like, all right, let's see if I can add to the friend roster.
That was going to be my question. But you will go to the reunion.
No, probably not. Probably not. No.
Have you ever gone to any of your reunions?
No, I never knew when they were. Maybe I don't. And now with social media, it's kind of like the people that you maybe want to know what's going on with them or whatever. I don't know.
I can go back home to Camillus, where I'm from, and if I really want to like see someone, I'll be like, hey dude, we're gonna go Azel's, like a local bar, like, hey, let's go to Azel's, grab a drink. There it is. That's my version of a 10-year high school reunion. I'd rather do that 10 times out of 10 than anything else. So, and also like that day I'm going to go and have a Friendsgiving with some of my friends, like who I haven't seen, guys who live away in other states. Like to me, that's more important because it goes back to the friendship thing. I'm good where my circle's at. I don't necessarily think I need to add to it, make it bigger, but I'm also not going to be someone who will ignore a conversation. Like if Jenny from 5th grade is like, Dom, so good to see you, I'll be like, Jenny, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Like, I'm not going to be like, well, hand, sorry.
You know
my
what?
Circle's not getting bigger.
Right. And on that note, I think Dom just closed out the show. So we'll see you all tomorrow.
I know.
That was great.
Perfect.